Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Let Me Tell You Why podcast. Jeremy Jacobowitz. I am your host, Jeremy Jacobowitz, and today we have a very, very, very fun episode. I am talking about the biggest mistakes I've made as an influencer. And listen, it's been almost 10 years. It is deemed successful on some level, but there are some big mistakes that I absolutely regret making, and we're going to talk about that. Plus, a new New York City brunch menu is back. A favorite of mine is back after shutting down since COVID. We're going to chat about my trip out to the West Coast. I was in Breckenridge and then Los Angeles. Of course, what I'm into. And do not forget jeremyjshop.com. Use code OCT25 for 12% off. We got all the Let Me Tell You Why merch you could ever want. We got the Never Toasted Bagel Tee. We got honey teas. We got, the eggs al santo, always a favorite. All that, jeremyjshop.com. And of course, just thank you guys for watching and listening. I really, really appreciate it. This is a passion project of mine. And if you are here watching and listening to it, you are like a Jeremy super fan. So I always appreciate that. Remember to like, remember to share, remember to follow, do all those things, comment, leave 5-star reviews. Let more people know about this podcast. So let's get to some restaurant news. Kanto Cafe is the new to-go cafe of Kanto in the West Village. It's going to be open every Wednesday to Sunday, 7:45 a.m. to 4 p.m. You can find a menu full of breakfast and lunch options like juices, gnocchi alla sorrentino, caramel macchiatos. Oh my God, I gotta... I struggle every single week saying all these words, but I gotta at least pronounce words that I know. Chicken Caesar wraps, pastries, and more. Maru Coffee makes the jump from LA to Williamsburg. They have a menu of specialty coffee, signature drinks like the cream top, and pastries from Frenchette. It's only a few blocks away from me. I walked by yesterday, Sunday. There is a line down the block. So I think I'm going to have to get there and check out to see like what all the hubbub is about. From the team behind Sammy and Sasu comes Shivka, their new all-day pita shop in NoHo that opens October 14th inside of their fresh pitas from Angel Bakery. I've talked about Angel Bakery before. They're the best. You will find cauliflower shawarma, sabich, schnitzel, and lamb kebab, plus tartar fries on the side. Pretty dreamy menu to me, so I'm excited to check that place out too. Aya in Soho is the new Moroccan restaurant which wants to bring you not only the flavors, but the artistry and celebratory spirit of Morocco. Highlights on menu include a Shiwa tower with lentil and butternut salad, carrot salad, eggplant, zalouk, tatuka, and a zucchini salad, plus tahine dishes, couscous dishes, and an Aya burger that is a confit shredded lamb shoulder patty of labna, aioli, and fries. That burger sounds incredible. Hidden beneath Mission Ceviche in Union Square is their brand new cocktail lounge and private event space, Submission. Hidden behind the upstairs hostess stand, when you walk in, you go downstairs and you will find a beautiful lounge with a number of different liquors and spirits, and in menu standouts like their spicy tuna crispy rice, truffle sliders with manchego cheese, and a lima sushi roll with yellowfin tartar, avo, aji amarillo, quinoa furikake, and spicy mayo. I texted a PR back and I was like, this might be a new first date spot or second date spot. Actually, speaking of that, there's a first date spot guide on Substack, jeremysub.com. Check that out. And I'm working currently on a second date spot guide that actually might be out by the time this comes out, but I'm not sure, but stay tuned for that. Mother's Ruin, back for the first time since shutting down for COVID. Mother's Ruin is relaunching their brunch service starting October 10th with brunch served every day from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. I love their chicken and waffles, which they make on legit Eggo waffles. But then they have a crispy mortadella sandwich, crab cake Benny, and a brand new cocktail menu. I'm intrigued by their cereal milk iced latte, vodka, espresso, cinnamon milk, and topped with whipped cream, fruity pebbles. Maybe like a little too sweet. Maybe this is like a shareable cocktail, but I do really want to try it. All right, and let's talk about what you may have missed. Number one, a video came out ranking the Radio Bakery menu. I've talked about Radio Bakery a ton. I love Radio Bakery, and I went back through all my videos and everything I've eaten, and I've ranked them in order of what all my favorite dishes were. That's everywhere across all these videos are everywhere. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Snapchat, Lemon8, or on Substack too. Do I post anywhere else? I try and put them on Threads also. Anywhere you guys want to find the videos, these videos will be. The best smash burger in Miami comes to New York City. Skinny Louie has opened in, what would I call the area? In Nomad. They've won Burger Bash a few years in a row, I believe. It's one of the best smash burgers. And that is finally here. Also talking about Substack, I updated my ultimate New York City burger guide, including this one. They are ranked every single burger I've eaten in New York City, ranked in order. That's on jeremysub.com also. New York City's most hyped sandwich is underhyped. I finally got to Salt Hanks. I ate his French dip sandwich. And for a sandwich that literally could not be more hyped, I actually think it's underhyped. Check that video out. And then cheese encrusted birria breakfast burrito. I was in LA. In the video, I called the restaurant Jamie. It is spelled Jaime. Now, I've only ever seen that word, Jamie. Jamie. I was in LA with Jamie, and she spells her name Jaime. This is also part of a restaurant group that has a restaurant called Osby and a restaurant called Jame. So I just assumed, okay, there are other restaurants called Jame. I literally have never seen this word spelled any other way. Jamie. I said Jamie 10,000 goddamn times. I was then corrected in comments that it is pronounced Jaime. I don't know. And people are like, what are you, stupid? It's a Mexican restaurant. Of course it's pronounced that way. I don't know. I didn't think about it. It literally didn't cross my mind. And sometimes you get things wrong, and that's okay. It was still an incredibly good breakfast burrito, and that's all that matters. And that leads into our next topic, which is just sort of going through my West Coast trip. Because as LA content rolls out across everything, so I want to give you guys a little update on this. So I was in Breckenridge, Colorado, and in Los Angeles, mostly for film festivals for my film, The Sandwich Line, which obviously we've talked a whole lot about. There's a whole episode about how we made the film. That was with Jamie, Jaime. But we went to two more festivals, Breckenridge, beautiful. I was in Breckenridge like 8 years ago or so. Beautiful mountain town, which I sort of appreciate more in the summer because I'm not a skier. The festival was so great. Everyone was so lovely and so warm. We saw some great films, some great food. I filmed a bunch of videos there. I'll be editing at some point. Did I have altitude sickness for the entire time I was there? Yes. It was not good. I tried to stay hydrated. I tried to do everything I could. It did not work. But it's okay. I still got to take it in. And the best was, I rented a car, and somehow the cheapest option was this brand new BMW M3. And you drive from Denver to Breckenridge. It's about a 2-hour drive through the mountains. And you have this beast of a car driving through the mountains. Oh, I loved it. Like, this thing roared. Jamie didn't appreciate it, but I thought it was pretty fucking cool. And then, of course, we were in LA for the Burbank Film Festival, another great film festival. It was crazy, like, seeing... like, the film is played in theaters, but this is the first time it was in, like, a giant theater with this incredible sound system. And, you know, I've seen our short film 10 million times already. But seeing it this way was like watching it for the first time. It was unbelievable. Like, I really loved it. Thank you to the Burbank Film Festival people. We also did a gala with them where Quentin Tarantino was like, he was supposed to be like the guest of honor. So I kind of figured like, oh, he'd come out, wave, blah, blah, blah. No, he sat there for like over an hour going through his entire career, which is so super cool. Like film by film by film, thought by thought by thought. Like, just one of the most fascinating people to listen to speak about film. Someone so passionate, even all these years later. And it was really, really incredible. And then, of course, I was in LA. So I saw as many friends as I could, and I ate as much as I could. As I said, that content is rolling out slowly as this podcast comes out. So check that out everywhere. But some incredible meals that we'll talk about at a future date. But yeah, LA is great. I love LA. I love going to LA. You know, I wish I could do it more. It's at this point maybe 2 to 3 times a year. Be bi-coastal maybe is like the real thing I want at some point. But yeah, always appreciate being out there. And then stay tuned. Like, we're kind of coming towards the end of like the Sandwich Line film festival circuit. And once we get through that, you know, I'll have a talk with Jamie about where to actually make this video live so everyone could, or this film live so everyone can watch it. But stay tuned, because then the next film that I executive produced, 31 Candles, is having a limited release in New York City in November. I've already posted about it. We're doing 3 days. I think it's 8, 9, 10th or 9, 10th, 11th. Check that out. I'll put link where you can get tickets. I know Friday night sold out, but then limited in New York, maybe some more theaters, maybe other places at some point. So I'm excited for you guys to watch that too. So, okay, let's get into the main topic this week, which is the biggest mistakes I've made as an influencer. And like I said, I've been making videos on the internet for, I don't know, almost 20 years. This has been my full-time job for just about 10 years. And while there's lots of successes that I've had, obviously, lots of things that I do right, obviously, it's sort of working. There are some huge mistakes I look back on and I was like, fuck, like, where could I have been if I'd made the right decision? And we're going to kind of go through those now. And, I think this is just, it's a learning thing for anyone. If you wanted to be a creator, if you wanted to be an influencer, just if you want to succeed in life, I think that like, it's good to, you don't want to like dwell on these things, but it's always good to go back and be like, maybe like you don't want to regret. Some of these might be regrets, but like you don't want to regret on it. You want to be like, what did I do wrong? And when presented with something in the future, what could I do right? It's all learning experience. So first up, we're going to talk about when Instagram launched stories. So Snapchat, God, I don't even know what years this was. This is forever ago. Snapchat was like doing really well. And Instagram was like, we'll take that, please. And I'd been on Snapchat. I don't even know what I was posting there, but I was there and they launched. And I remember the second stories launched and it like hurt my stomach. My stomach was in knots. And this generally happens anytime Instagram launches something new, by the way. My stomach is in knots because I'm just like, well, fuck, like, what do you do? What do you do? This is something brand new. I don't even know how to approach this. The mistake I made, I think I said this on day one. I was like, I'll never be the person that's just like talking to camera, blah, 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 blah. I want to, in my brain, like, at the time, my Instagram was very, very curated. Everything was still professional photos, professional videos, not really casual at all. It was really before Instagram and social media totally made that switch to everything being so much more personal. And I was still so locked into like, this is my brand. This is my brand. I want to keep the brand up, the brand. And what I missed was that it wasn't about your brand anymore. And stories was a perfect example of that. Stories was going to be the way to truly connect to your audience. And I made the mistake of not doing that. My mistake was I kept it this like really curated thing and not personal at all. And this is still so long ago that there wasn't like a billion influencers then. There was still pretty small pool. And I had a true opportunity to connect to my audience, and I didn't do it. And that sucks because it's still something I struggle with to this day. And that kind of runs through a lot of these things. But yeah, sucks. I could have really connected. And instead of being nervous about making content for it, I should have just leaned into being like, this is super casual. This is all casual. Whatever you see is casual, and the feed could still be a little bit more consistent, but totally missed the boat on like what it should have been. And that sucks. Number two, and this might be the biggest one. TikTok invited me to be on TikTok early and was going to pay me to be on the platform early. And I said no. So again, I forgot what year it is, but I get a DM saying, hey, what was it, Musical.ly at the time? I forget. Yeah. Hey, we're formerly Musical.ly. We're now TikTok. We love your content. Here's what we want to do. We want to pay me to be one of the first creators on TikTok. And all I had to do was also promote those videos on Instagram, telling people to go to TikTok. And listen, I get DMs and emails like that all the time. Like, hey, we're launching a new app, blah, 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 blah. Why don't you do this? So I had no idea what it was. I never heard of Musical.ly. I never heard of TikTok. And I was just like, well, what's TikTok? And they're like, oh, people like make music videos on here. And that's what Musical.ly was. Like you kind of made music videos. You were like dancing to songs and stuff and graphics and stuff like that. And I was just like, I don't make music videos. I don't really know if this is for me. No, thank you. And the reason why it's a no was not that it was necessarily going to be more work. It's the same videos essentially. It was that I hate pushing my audience towards something I don't understand and I didn't even know if I was going to use. So I could have taken the money and be like, hey guys, go to TikTok and check out my videos. But in my brain, I was like, why? I make videos here. What am I pushing them towards? And clearly, that was a huge mistake. I would have been like the first food person creating on TikTok, and they were going to pay me a lot of money. And I said no. And God fucking damn it. That sucks. So, what was the lesson here? Well, from now on, when people want me to be on their platform, I kind of just say yes now. Now, would I have accepted that deal to post about it on Instagram? I don't, probably still, maybe not. But I certainly would have gotten on the platform and started posting because now I post everywhere. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where and who you are. I will post on your platform because the work is done. It takes 2 extra seconds and it's insane for me not to post. God, fuck. Jesus. Say this out loud. I don't, fuck. God damn it. Yeah, that one sucked. IGTV mistake. So I don't know if you guys remember, but IGTV was Instagram's first foray into long form content. At that point, I think videos could, this is before Reels. At that point, I think videos were only 1 minute and IGTV could go over a minute. And what I realized when I started posting IGTV was that it actually hit my audience better than a normal video. So let's say, I don't remember how many followers I had at the time. Let's say you have 100,000 followers and I post a video. What I realized was like maybe it would reach, a normal video would reach half my followers and an IGTV would reach 75% of my followers. It was clearly ranking higher IGTV on the feed than normal videos. And it's a new product that kind of makes sense. Whatever Instagram wants to launch, they usually push a little harder. And I realized that I was like, well, shit. Why not just post IGTV? One, I reach more of my followers, which is always like the hardest part of social media, reach your followers. Two, leaning into long form, and they weren't that long, but leaning into long form could be a differentiator into my content versus other people's content. So, hey, how am I different? I'm making longer videos on Instagram. I'm diving deeper into my videos. I'm the person to bring that to you. So it made perfect sense that like, this is my account now. I'll be the IGTV account. I'll crush it. And engagement was way higher. Great. That's what you do. You listen to engagement. The people like the algorithms working for you. The people are watching it, blah, 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 blah. And I think I spent almost 2 years literally just exclusively posting IGTV because I was like, why would I post a normal video that makes no sense? Why would I post just like a photo when IGTV does better? Why? And what took me far too long to understand. So at the time I started posting IGTV, and I think I did, again, I forget the years, but maybe a year or two of just IGTV. I lost followers every single day. I lost followers every single day for 2 years. Not a lot, just every single day, little by little, by little, by little, by little. And I don't know why I didn't do the math at the time, but what had happened was that one, anytime you reach more followers than you usually do, you get a little bit more, you get people unfollowing you. So that's kind of what I thought. I was like, oh, you know what? I'm reaching more of my audience. Odds are maybe they haven't seen my content in a while. They unfollow me. Like even yesterday on stories, my stories were like 10 times higher views than normal. I lost more followers because I was probably reaching someone who hadn't followed me and or who had followed me for 3 years and just hadn't seen my content and just sort of natural. Like, oh, I didn't remember I was following a person. I don't care anymore, whatever. And that was certainly happening. But also I wasn't reaching new people because the math I didn't do at the time was that while IGTV was ranking higher in people's feeds, it wasn't ranking higher on the explore page. Nobody was discovering me. So I wasn't growing. And the game on social media is grow because that new audience is who's going to push you because they're going to be more excited to follow you. And for 2 years, I didn't grow. I lost. And this was, listen, there was a lot of reasons I lost a lot of followers then. This was during election time and COVID time and all these things where I was speaking out, and I was one of the first really, I don't want to say I was the first influencer, but I was certainly an influencer taking advantage of using my platform, and I lost a lot of followers. And it just didn't connect to me that I wasn't growing. At a pivotal time when everyone started really popping off, I didn't grow. And again, it's that thing of not only did I not grow, and you always want to be growing and get numbers, I spent like 2 years not gaining a new audience. And I was relying on people engaging with me who have watched me every single day for years instead of fresh eyes. And I think that really bit me in the ass. Because even today, I'm still relying on people. Not now, since Reels basically, and I stopped doing IGTV a while ago. Now I grow every single day. We're back, baby. But you still look at that pivotal time of, damn, I spent all the time not growing when it could have been growing a new audience, and my platforms could have been completely different. That sucks. Next. God, I made so many mistakes. Not making YouTube videos. So what's crazy is this thing started as YouTube. The whole thing started as I wanted to make videos because I just like making videos, and YouTube was the only platform to make videos. And Instagram was just supposed to supplement YouTube. Of like, when I posted a YouTube video, you would post something on Instagram. Here's a photo. Go watch the video on YouTube. That was really the whole intention of it. And I had made a few videos early. I spent years, I mean, to be fair, I spent years on YouTube very early. I started posting YouTube in 2009. I started posting YouTube, which is crazy. But then I went years without because I just thought it was too much work. And I still like had this thing of like, no, if it's a YouTube video, it has to be just full production. Oh my God. I need all this gear and all these people and all this work and all this time. And I just didn't concentrate on it. And a lot of it was because like Instagram was the key thing. Instagram's what took off. And at the time, there's no video on Instagram. So I would go to restaurants, I would take a bunch of photos, and I'd get out of there. And then that was it. That was the content I got. I wouldn't take any video. And I could have been that person making food videos at restaurants. Again, being super early about it on YouTube. And if I just stuck to it, even if I did one video a week for years, I would have a lot more followers on YouTube. YouTube has still always been a struggle. I'm at like 50 something thousand after being on YouTube for fucking 20 years, which is a daily struggle. And YouTube really only got life again for me with the introduction of shorts, which has been tremendous for me. And now I try and do about 4 to 5 videos a month. But I just think back and think, damn, like, I don't even know what I was doing. This is early Instagram. So this must have been 10 years ago, maybe. And I just asked myself, like, what was I doing all day? If I wasn't making videos, which I know takes every second of every day now, like, what was I doing all day that I couldn't make one video a week? And I don't know, maybe it wouldn't have worked. Like at the time, I was very bad on camera. Listen, I had videos on YouTube. I fucking promise you I was very bad on camera. But damn, there was a real opportunity there to do what I really wanted to do. And for whatever reason, I didn't. And I think it was like I was running around too much. I was going to different events. I was going to 1,000 restaurants because I just needed content. Photo. I was posting like 4 to 5 times a day on Instagram of just photos because you also only post one photo at a time. So you'd go to a restaurant and get 1,000 photos and you just post those, well, whatever. I had a real opportunity again to be an early adapter and do this thing. And even if it was slow back then, I still would have had way more followers on YouTube than I do now. I could have had that play button. All I want is a goddamn play button. I could have had it and I didn't. And YouTube's still such a struggle. And I love YouTube so much. And I think that's the thing too, like I didn't watch YouTube at the time. So it wasn't like influenced to do it. Where now I watch YouTube every second of every day. And maybe if I had watched it more, I would have understood it better and known to do it. But I didn't. And that sucks. I think saying yes to too much just kind of leads into what we were just talking about. But saying yes to too many things at the beginning, I think you are afraid to say no because you know that you rely on other people for opportunities. And I said yes to everything. And I think generally it's a better rule to say yes to everything than no to everything. But I do think I could have found a better balance of being like, okay, you don't need to go to this event tonight. Like, you're fine. You take one day off and maybe make a video, maybe do this, maybe do that, maybe whatever, work out. I don't know. And I think it took me a while to be able to say no. And listen, growing really fast and getting a lot of followers gave me the power to say no, but I think just having a little bit more confidence, I think that's a good lesson for everyone of, again, like, lean yes, but don't be afraid to say no. This one is kind of like still what I struggle with is I kind of need to post more. I know it sounds crazy because I post like 4 to 5 videos a week everywhere. But I do think I have to still let go a little bit and just post something fun, get something out there, more photos, more galleries, more bringing you guys into my world a little bit. I think would really, really, really be beneficial for me. And I still struggle because I know those posts don't do as well as other things, but I think connecting is really important, and I can't always chase the likes and engagement. You have to just trust your audience and trust you guys and really bridge that gap. Like, I think the Bagel series is a great example of that. Is it's doesn't do as well as my other videos. Maybe it gets half the engagement, but I think that it's connecting really, really well. So I'm really proud of that. I think I could still do a lot with that. And like, that's a good example of like not chasing the likes, just chasing something I know is good and I know you guys like, and I know could break through eventually, and lean hard into that. So that's still something I struggle with, but something I think like a lesson you learn. And in this one might be the biggest mistake I made. I could have been an original podcaster and I said no. God damn, what was I thinking? So I had this professor while I was at NYU. Most of my professors were adjuncts, so they were all working in the industry. So they were all very successful and had a lot going on and had really interesting and cool jobs. And I remember right when Brunch Boys at the time was taking off. So this must have been 10 years ago because I was doing this full time. So it must have been 10 years ago. I got approached by one of my professors, and he was just like, hey, I see you really blowing up. I run a podcasting network, and I think that you would be great for it. I don't think I even knew what a podcast was, honestly. But I had this meeting with him, and he was basically like, he was like, there's a space in this podcasting world for a food one. I don't even know if there's a food podcast at the time. I want you to host it. We could produce it together, blah, 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 blah. And I said, no, I could have had a podcast before anybody, and it would have had the help of like the best people in the world to do it. And I said, no. And it was a lot because like I went through my guidelines of what I want to work on. And one, I wasn't excited by it. I don't even know if it's fleshed out what I wanted to do, but creatively I was like, I don't know if this like creatively excites me. And I remember it's basically being like, hey, if you guys give me a producer and I could just come in and do it, great. If it's like me working on this all the time, it's really, I don't know if I have the capacity to do it. And it kind of fell apart from, and then I was like asking about money, and I was just like, let me just if I could just like get money up front, and that's not the way podcasting world works. It's kind of based off of ad stuff. And if I'd known anyone even doing a podcast at the time, I could figure this all out. But I was like, it's like a risk. I don't even know if I have time to do this. I don't even know if I can make money. I don't even understand what a podcast is. And I really should have just done it. I would have had the backing of this big podcasting network. I would have been one of the first podcasters, and fuck. But I have this podcast now and have you guys, and it all worked out, and it's wonderful. But yeah, I think about that one a lot. And thank you to the professor that actually thought of me. And I am very, very, very sorry for turning you down. But that's it. The biggest mistakes I've made. I'm still here. I'm still doing pretty well. So it's okay. Don't dread on it. But certainly learning lessons. Finally, what I'm into this week. And we're just gonna do one thing this week because I have a lot to say. The Smashing Machine, The Rock's new movie with A24 and Benny Safdie, based on the career of Mark Kerr. I'm wearing the shirt right here. I was invited by Terramana, The Rock's tequila company, to not only come to this pop-up event that they had in New York City that was super cool. They built it to make it look like a Japanese arcade from the 2000s. But then along with A24, they invited me to New York City screening to see the film before it came out. Great film. The Rock, everyone leveled up. The Rock leveled up everything's performance in his first real dramatic role. I thought he crushed it as Mark Kerr. Emily Blunt plays his partner. She's never looked hotter in her entire life. She looked fucking great. Love Benny Safdie. Love all of his films. Directing style, I really appreciate. It was a beautiful film. It's an MMA fighter, if you don't know who it is. So there's lots of fights. It's not gory graphic, but it certainly is. There's fighting and, whatever. But a really beautiful film, a love letter to MMA, a love letter to Mark Kerr, and I think everyone did a great job. But the highlights were, one, just being at the screening was super cool. I got to pee next to Matt Damon. I got to see all these celebrities. I got to go to the after party with them. That was great, super, super fun. But then also while I was at the pop-up, Benny Safdie is there. Awesome, awesome fucking dude. I wanted to meet him anyway. Super cool. I met The Rock. I met The Rock. And you guys know I'm a big wrestling fan. I'm a big fan of The Rock, big fan of everything he does. Grew up watching him, been a fan forever. To see his growth to be the biggest celebrity on planet Earth is crazy. But I got to meet him. A literal dream come true. Go up, shake his hand, get that photo. And just a good fucking guy. I was there with David Ma, who's a director and TikToker and all this and a million other things. And you should go watch the video on his platforms. But he went up to The Rock, get a photo also. And The Rock's like, "Oh, what do you do?" And David's like, "Oh, I'm a young director trying to, get my start, whatever." And he's like, "Oh, you're a director." He goes, "Have you met Benny Safdie?" And David's like, No, not yet." Rock's like, "Come with me. I'm going to introduce you to Benny Safdie." So there's all these people in this room wanting to meet The Rock, interview The Rock, talk to The Rock, get a photo with The Rock. He stops all that to walk across the room with David to personally introduce him to Benny Safdie, one of the great directors in the industry right now. And yeah, just awesome movie, a better guy, and a really once in a lifetime experience I'll never forget. So thank you, Terramana, A24, The Rock, the whole team. Awesome job. And I got my t-shirt and I got a poster too. I got a frame. I'm gonna put this really cool, it's Japanese inspired poster somewhere in my apartment. But that's it. Thank you guys for watching, listening. I think it's been a fun episode, a learning experience for me and for you. And don't forget, share, subscribe, leave 5-star reviews, all that fun stuff. And I'll see you next week. Bye.